In the NFL, players get cut all the time. It's just part of the business. But every once in a while, a story comes along that makes everyone stop and say, whoa, what just happened? Well, what went down in Miami, that was one of those stories. This wasn't just a simple release. This was a team paying an unbelievable amount of money for their franchise quarterback to just go away. It's a wild story, so let's get right into it. Okay, just look at that number, $99.2 million. Let that just sit there for a second. That is the largest, and I mean the largest, dead cap hit in the entire history of the National Football League. And what is it for? It's the price the Miami Dolphins agreed to pay for Tua Tagovailoa to not be their quarterback. Just wow. So, that mind-boggling number, it was all triggered by this one move. On March 9th, the Dolphins made it official. They told Tua his 6-year journey with the team, a journey that started with so much hope and promise, was over. And that single decision is what kicks this whole incredible story into gear. So the big question is, how? How on earth does a team get to a point where they willingly take on a financial hit this massive? It's pretty unprecedented, so we've got to break down exactly how this shocking divorce came to be. First things first, you have to understand this term, dead cap hit. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's money that still counts against your team's salary cap for a player who isn't even on your team anymore. Think of it like the financial ghost of a contract that's come back to haunt the front office. Now, taking a nearly $100 million hit all at once would be, catastrophic. So the Dolphins are trying to soften the blow a little. They're using what's called a post-June 1 designation, which basically lets them spread that financial pain across 2 seasons. It doesn't actually reduce the crazy amount they have to pay, but it's kind of like paying a massive bill in 2 installments instead of one crippling lump sum. And here's the official line from the team, straight from their GM, Jon-Eric Sullivan. Listen to how that's worded. There's no emotion, no sentiment. It's the cold, hard language of the NFL business. And it makes one thing brutally clear. The Tua Tagovailoa era in Miami is officially over. But look, this story isn't just about spreadsheets and salary caps. Behind that ice-cold statement is the very human story of a player's journey. And man, what a journey it was. His 6 years in Miami were nothing short of an absolute roller coaster. I mean, this timeline says it all. He comes in as the 5th overall pick, the guy who was supposed to save the franchise. Fast forward to 2023, and he's lighting it up, leading the entire league in passing yards. That performance gets him a massive, record-setting contract extension in 2024. But then, it all just fell apart. A career high in interceptions gets him benched in 2025, and just like that, only 2 years after signing that historic deal, he was cut. The whiplash you get from looking at these 2 seasons side by side is just staggering. I mean, going from the very top of the league to riding the bench, from being tough enough to play every single game to watching from the sideline as the season collapsed. It was this stunning, dramatic freefall that really forced Miami to make this impossible decision. But here's the thing you have to understand. This wasn't all happening in a vacuum. Tua's collapse, as bad as it was really just the biggest and most expensive part of a much larger, much tougher plan. The Dolphins basically decided it was time to press the big red button and start all over. And when I say start over, I mean it. This was a full-on demolition. After missing the playoffs for 2 straight years, they brought in a new coach, and the stars started dropping like flies. All-pro receiver Tyreek Hill, gone. Star pass rusher Bradley Chubb, cut. Elite safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, traded away. These weren't just small changes, these were foundation-shaking decisions. And releasing Tua, while the most expensive move by far, was the final unmistakable signal that a brand new era was beginning in Miami. With all the talk about money and business, it's easy to forget the human side of all this. Tua posted this message to the fans, and you can just feel the heart behind it. It's a really powerful reminder that behind these massive contracts and cutthroat decisions, there are real people who pour everything they have into a team and a city. But you know how it goes in the NFL. One team's problem often becomes another team's solution. And Tua's story was far from over. Because all the way across the conference, another team was having its own full-blown crisis at the most important position in all of sports, the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, the quarterback situation in Atlanta was pure chaos. Their top young prospect, Michael Penix Jr., is hurt. Their big money veteran, Kirk Cousins, is on his way out the door. They have a brand new coach and GM, and even their franchise legend, Matt Ryan, is back in the building trying to help sort this whole mess out. They needed a proven quarterback, and they needed one like yesterday.
And then the dots started to connect. Reports started flying that Atlanta was getting ready to make a big move for Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, it's a perfect storm, right? You've got a super talented player who desperately needs a new home, and a team that is desperate for an answer at quarterback.
Which brings us to what might be the most fascinating chapter of this whole story. Because for Tua, this move to Atlanta is about so much more than a new contract. This is a shot at redemption. This is a chance for a quarterback who was literally paid to leave to stand back up and reclaim his spot among the best in the game. So that's the thought I really want to leave you with. For a player who has seen the highest of highs and the absolute lowest of lows, what does this next chapter really mean? Is this a brand new beginning, the fresh start that will finally let him become the player everyone thought he could be? Or is this the last stop? The beginning of the end for a once promising career? I guess we're all about to find out.